Hello, hello, everyone. Number 34, week 34 of Consultant Confident. If you have been following us and watching us, I am sure you have been inundated with all kinds of ideas and all kinds of tips and tricks and things that you can use in your business. And you probably couldn't even implement them all. You'll have to go back to number one when we're done with our 52, our 52.
Yes. So Bonnie,
yes.
What are we doing today?
Well, we are talking about on the goes. And, I don't know if everybody knows about on the goes because we haven't really talked about it. But if you do your weekly accomplishment sheet, it is a column or one of the drop down is called on the go.
Yep.
So years ago, our national sales director, Judy McCoy, said to us, get into their house, get into their space, whatever it takes. If she wants to see hand cream, show her hand cream. If she wants to see lipsticks, show her lipsticks. And if she wants foundation, show her foundation. But just find a way to connect with that person. And sometimes people don't have a ton of time. And that's how the concept of on the go came about.
Exactly.
So Dawn, tell me like the advantages of on the go.
So,
or how would you even book an on the go?
Well, Bonnie, I think we need to talk about two things because you just said something. I think there's a time to book an on the go, and then I think there's an on the go, which this comes with me, and I'm sure you have something similar to this. But we are on the go, so this goes with us when we go on the go. Correct? So
correct.
Let's do this. So Bonnie, you're my customer. No, you're not my customer. Let's say. I think there are ways of doing on the goes to develop a customer, and then I think there's on the goes that we do with our customers when we see them, during their annual visits. And sometimes we see customers once a quarter, sometimes we see them twice a year, sometimes we see them once a year. But that's sometimes what I consider an on the go, because necessarily they're not being facial, because a lot of times they don't put product on their face, but we talk to them about what's new. So let's talk about, you're somebody who I would like to be my customer.
Okay.
And I asked you to get together for a complimentary pampering session or a glow session, whatever you call them, or just to see our Mary Kay products. And you've told me like, no.
Bonnie, I'm just so busy, Dawn, and I just don't know if there's really anything I need.
Well, and Bonnie, I hear your heart. I understand how you feel. We're all running around. But when you are getting ready in the morning, is there something that you feel you're missing in your skincare or your color routine that I might just be able to help you with? What might that be?
You know what, Dawn, this just happened to me. I put on my eyeshadow every single day and it disappears. Like I can't even, whoopsie. I even see it at the end of the day. I don't know where it went. So well, I guess if you could make that stay on, I'd be happy.
Yes. So Bonnie, would you like, is there a time where we can get together for like 15 minutes? I know we're not far from one another. I would just love to come over and show you the product and show you how to use it. And I'm hoping.
Do you have a product that would fix that? You do?
I can't show it's up my sleeve right before we get together, but yes. So are you around maybe tomorrow afternoon or Friday afternoon?
I would be interested in that. Yes.
Okay. Yes. Now you mentioned eyeshadow. Are you in need of any eyeshadow colors or any ideas like that, or is it just the something to keep the shadows on?
I love eyeshadows. That's why I get so frustrated when they don't stay on. So I guess I'm always open to see them.
Yes. So I don't want to inundate you. So I'll bring those along just so that I can show you how I put mine on, what I use, and then we can go from there. Okay.
Okay.
Would like this time tomorrow, 2:30, 3 o'clock be okay?
Perfect.
Got it. And then yes. Mm-hmm. Okay. So then we fast forward to tomorrow. And when Bonnie and I get together, I would bring in, because I want to be respectful, I would bring in with me, a book, a profile, a sales receipt. I would bring in the items that I wanted to show her, which is eye primer. I would bring in my brush set, and I would bring in my palette of eyeshadows and maybe the compacts, just so she could see this. This isn't a place where you're going to go in and try to trick her into thinking that she's going to have a facial, because that's not, you want to be respectful of her time, but at least you can show her. And if you demo on her hand, like if she has an issue and I show her eye primer and I say this little tube will help keep your eyeshadow on. It will make your eyeshadow more intense. It will make it so that it doesn't end up in your crease. And I think the best thing is that when you are putting on your highlighter color, which are the colors such as like Blossom, Biscotti, those really light colors, they'll go on brighter and you won't use as much of it. But then as you're demoing it, you'd put the eye primer here, and then you'd have her take a brush from the Mary Kit brush set, and you would have her put it on her hand where the eye primer is, and then you'd have her put it over here where the eye primer isn't. And then what's going to happen? She's going to be like, oh my God, I can't live without that. So then I would say, Bonnie, is this something that you might like? This little tube of eye primer?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I know my dog is back here and he's digging like under, I think a treat fell underneath something. So he's like all over the place, like wrapped around my leg.
Bonnie, if you told me a treat fell under your desk, I would probably go under the desk to get a treat. It's that time of the afternoon where everybody needs like a little snack.
Yeah. Yes. He's had plenty. But well, yes.
I would probably show her our eyeshadow colors. And I would just say, in your wardrobe of eyeshadows, are you missing any of these beautiful shades? And then just silence yourself and let her say, oh my gosh, these are really pretty. And I like how there are so many mattes, or, like some of these shimmers are really pretty. So just allow her to ask questions about that.
I think I just want to mention that whenever we're doing any kind of appointment, I loved what you said, Dawn, about be respectful of her time. You know what? If you got done in 14 minutes, she'd think you were just the cat's meow, because you were on time, conscientious, and all that. And you know what? You can blame it on you. If she's like going on longer, you can even say, "Ooh, I need to get going." And I promise you, I'd only be here 15 minutes. I have to be somewhere. But always to remember that with any appointment, whether we're talking to them about the career opportunity, whether we're talking about products, whatever we're talking about, there is always an opening, always a body, and always a close. Now, if you're doing a skincare class, those are spread out much further. But if you're doing this appointment, maybe just to even start and say, thank you so much for inviting me over and allowing me the opportunity to show you, just these eyeshadow fixes. And just wanted to remind you that all the products are guaranteed 100%. So if you ever try something and it's not perfect, you can return it and exchange it for something, just like those opening kind of reminder things, and thank her and say, okay, let me show you the eyeshadow things. And then that's the body, like showing her the product. And then the end is, so what do you think? Would you be interested in this little tube that can make your eyeshadows last? Or would you be interested in one of these compacts? I know you really liked those colors together. So always think an opening, a body, and a close. Yes.
I do have a question on close. Okay, I don't have an eye primer here, but I'm going to hold this little tube. This little tube's $12. So after you showed her that, and maybe you'd ask her if she might enjoy any of the eyeshadows, Bonnie, would you say, since I'm talking about do you need any eyeliner or mascara or remover? Would you just mention that to her, since you are working in that eye area? Would you at least mention to her that we had those products just in case? Would you?
Yes, I would probably say, especially if I wasn't running out of time, but I would say, a couple of other popular eye products are, and I don't know if you're in need of them or would like to see more information about that, but we have a fabulous eye makeup remover that is just splendid. We have beautiful eyeliners, and we have great mascaras. Are you in need of any of those things? She'll tell you if she is or not.
Well, and I just think, so then what happens, Bonnie, is if I did with you or if you did this with me, it doesn't matter. Then when I'm getting ready the next day and I'm putting on my mascara, and maybe my mascara is getting a little dry, I would be like, that lady
Should've got
just told me about that. And I didn't know, maybe I should ask her the next day. I didn't know you're supposed to remove my makeup with eye makeup remover. So it's one of those things where it just,
Mhm.
if you are,
And I think with anything, in closing, since we're kind of on the closing end of this, is just to say, remember to ask questions. But when you ask a question, you say, "So what do you think, Dawn? What are these? What of all the eye products I showed you? What'd you like best? What'd you think?" And then be
decide.
quiet and just let her think. So many times we're like, "I know I said I was going to be out of here. I got to get going." It's like we're like, and you just be quiet and let her think. So.
So Bonnie, one time I went to an on the go, and it was probably about something like this. And she goes, "I'll take an eye makeup remover." And she didn't get anything else. But her husband stood in the kitchen the whole time. And I'm like, dude, are you, are you going to leave? But I was a smart person, because when I got home, I wrote her a note and I said, "Cheryl, did you hear what I said? I wrote a note on a postcard and I said, "Cheryl, I just wanted to say thank you for the time. Thank you for the time. I hope you enjoy your eye primer. I will be," I didn't ask if I could, but I said, "I will be in touch with you in about 3 months. I will be in touch with you in the future about, how you're enjoying the product. And I look forward to being your Mary Kay consultant." So probably somebody like her, I probably would have, didn't have text then, but I probably would have emailed her and just said, "How's the eye primer working out?" But I would have put her in my, tickler file to circle back like in 3 months. Not that an eye primer would go out that far, but I would. She is definitely somebody I planted enough seeds with that I'd want to connect with. So, mhm.
Absolutely.
And in this day and age, we might ask her to join our Facebook group where she would see information. So it would be a silent way of like layering her.
Mhm.
Bonnie, what does your on the go bag look like?
Well, right now I have things in a basket. But
Yes.
sometimes I carry it in my bag and it's just in one of these little black
Yes.
pouches.
Yes. Yep. Yep.
And sometimes I put things in a roll-up bag, because then you could keep books in there, you could keep business cards, you could keep,
Yes.
you know,
Yes.
hand
Mhm.
cream, you could keep a mixture of things in there, new products and whatever you're going to show her. So it's an
It
easy
has
way. You come in with one little bag and you're done.
So when you put this, like, let's say you meet at a coffee shop and you put this down, a lot of times the guest who you're seeing, like customer or friend, they'll be like, "What's in there?" And I'll be like, "Okay, so this isn't about Mary Kay today," because sometimes it's not about Mary Kay, but I do have like two things from the spring grouping I would like to show you. These bronzing sticks and the highlighter, and you might like this lipstick. So I am at least respectful that I don't go everywhere and Mary Kay with everyone. But if
Mhm.
she said what's in there, then I'm like, then we're going to show a customer that, correct?
Mhm. Yep. Yep.
And I have everything in there. I have the after sun gel, I have the bronzers, I have the highlighting stick, I have
Mhm.
the two new lipsticks, I have little wands to put them on. I have the 4 boosters in there. And then I do like to talk about one current product. So I have the oil-free hydrating gel and intense moisturizer, because that was the product of the quarter. So that kind of
Mhm.
rotates. But yeah, and then the 3 hand creams. So yes, so then this comes with me everywhere.
Ta-da. I love that little cosmetic bag. I love that it's see-through. I love that it holds a lot. I love that it's cute.
Well, and some quarters we have larger, like a larger something. So a different bag would go with me. But it's just a matter of carrying it. And I'm always trying to make sure that it says Mary Kay on it or something. And I usually always carry extra lookbooks and
Mhm.
receipts with me. However, we always have a lookbook with us because we have the brochure app on our phones. So yes. So Bonnie, let's say so we've kind of talked about like on the go with working with somebody you're trying to really build a new connection with. We talked about like out and going. But what happens when we have customers that I would say sometimes we see 2, 3, 4 times a year? Maybe it correlates with how um, the
Books coming out.
books well, but I mean, do you
Mhm.
usually just let your customers say, "Hey, what did you find interesting?" and then just silence yourself so she'll say, "Tell me more about these boosters," or well, how do you handle those cases?
Um, I think I ask, like I'll say like, so what'd you see that looked exciting, or what was your favorite part? And if they go, oh gosh, I can't remember, or oh, I don't know, I liked it all, or they don't really give a specific answer, I'll say, then I'll go back to like, did you see those lipsticks? Did you get a chance to try them on? Oh my gosh, they're so pretty. They're
Yep.
so hydrating. I don't know if you get dry lips, but they have vitamin E and sunflower oil in it. And so I might, depending who it is,
Yep.
suggest something
Yep. And the other thing is I like how they put the 4 boosters
on the
on
front.
the cover of the book. So that's a great way
Mhm,
to say, any questions on these?
mhm.
Any thoughts? Or if they kind of just look at me like, I don't know what those are. Do you want me to explain to you what each of them does very quickly? And then they'll say yes. And then I kind of go through, you know, good
And you
ones
can even um say like the one, I was going to look where the hydrator was positioned on there, but I left in the book. I think I put it away.
hydrator one is
Uh,
because everybody needs that, the blue one.
right.
Mhm.
So I would probably start with that. I'd
Yes.
say something about like, have you checked out the boosters on the front cover? Well, that one with the blue writing, that is the hydrator, and everybody needs that. Everybody could use that.
Yep.
The other ones are this and this and this. If
Yep.
you had to pick one other one, what would you say would be your ask a question?
Yes.
Like what would be your next one that
Yes.
you'd go to?
What is your greatest concern? So yes, but I
Mhm.
think Bonnie, it's when we're not a one-time sale type of girl, or our customer base
Right.
is, you're seeing your customers, and it's when you're seeing them that you find out who's ill in their family. you know
Hmm.
is it, is a child struggling, is somebody, looking, are they not happy with their job, and those are the things where we just really get to know about people, and
Hmm.
that's where when they're out and about and they meet another Mary Kay person, they're going to say, "Oh, my Mary Kay person is, Dawn Wangard. Thank you very much." Or when they go to
Hmm.
a vendor fair and they see something else, they're not going to buy somewhere else. They're going to come home and say, "Hey, I saw the new display. Can you tell me more about this?"
Hmm.
So that's where these relationships are so important. Mhm.
Hmm.
Yep.
Yeah.
And now that people are getting out and about, Bonnie was working at her office last week. I was working at my, studio, and the nice thing is they come to see you because they want to see you. So I mean, it's fun to have them say,
Yeah.
"Well, you're going to be there. I'll stop in and see you," and they want to see what's new. Mhm.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. It's building those relationships.
it's key.
And I think sometimes you're better off building them 15 minutes at a time, over and over time,
Yep.
than slamming in a 4 hour whatever. I'm not saying that that's bad, 3 hours too, one, but I think when you do that consistently and you see them, you're going to build a really good relationship with people.
Well, let's say Bonnie, you did that. For those people who say, "Oh, that's great, but what does it get me?" Let's say you develop one customer a week. Okay, at
Mhm,
the end of the year, you have 50 customers, and
mhm,
let's say on the low side they spend 400. So 50 times 400 is 20,000, and about half that's your profit. Would that help your budget?
yeah.
Right now they say that the average person needs about $500, 500 more a month. So just by doing perhaps a 15 or 30-minute appointment, and those appointments
Mhm,
don't have to be in somebody's house. It can be virtual. It can be maybe as you're leaving work. It
mhm,
can be as you're doing a kids activity. It's just a matter of the consistency that you engage with developing customers.
mhm. And I think spring and summer now, this is a great time to be talking about it, because I think this is a time that people are sitting with their kids at
Yep.
things, taking them, stopping off, going to the beach, picking them up for swimming lessons, sitting there and waiting,
Yep.
soccer games, baseball games. There's just so many different activities that if you are, if you know people who are sitting at those places, or you know people, I think
Yep.
it's a great place to connect.
And I think next week, speaking of different things, I think next month I'm going to start doing waterless pedicures again, because
Ooh.
then people come for that. They sit, and as they're sitting, as the towels are warm and stuff like that, then you can do it on the go with the new products, or maybe you can go through skincare as they come in on the back of their hand. So
Mhm.
you're getting them there for something fun, but you are really layering the
Other things.
the
Mhm.
the base of our company. So, all right.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
Bonnie, until next week. we
Until
would like
next week, Dawn.
Yes. All right. Thank you,
Bye,
my friend.
everyone.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.